Hey everyone, welcome back to another Godzilla Battleline video, and today we're going over the logs for Mechagodzilla 1974 and Chibi Godzilla. Alright, we got the logs, so shout out to Discord for finding Chibi Godzilla's logs, and I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, YouTube commenter who found the Mechagodzilla logs, but I'm pretty sure it was the first time that a YouTube comment has got us the logs for one of these characters, so shout out to you. You know who you are. That was a massive W. I already thanked you in the comments. So what are the logs? A lot of people who are new to the game don't know about the logs. It's these. When you go to your expeditions and you see this blue text, it's not just like random text. There's little stories. And the stories usually are unique and will tell you exactly what monsters you're going to get, right? You'll be able to read through the stories and be able to predict what character or characters are in your box. I say characters because sometimes there's groups like Dorats and the Kamakras or Swarms. So this sheet will be linked in the Discord, or it is linked in the Discord, but it'll also be linked in the description of this video, I meant to say. And this is a key basically in how you read your expeditions, right? The first two entries mean nothing. The third, fourth, and fifth entries usually are what's determining your category. There are a few exceptions where these get jumbled up, but usually it's pretty straightforward. And then 6, 7, and 8 are the key identifiers that you can use to determine exactly what monster is what. So before we even get started with Chibi and Mechagodzilla, I want to talk about another Mechagodzilla, which is Mechagodzilla 2021. And his logs are these. We've already gone over his logs in a previous video, but we recently discovered that he also has connecting logs to Kamen Rider. Apparently, someone was able to pull Mechagodzilla out of logs that had the dust rises, and then it goes into this. Like, very straight. I never seen that updated like so late into the game like this without them like announcing it, because they have announced when a character's logs have changed. I don't remember whose it was. I think it was this Mechagodzilla. I think this Mechagodzilla didn't have his own logs. I think his logs were shared with this Mechagodzilla and then or regular Godzilla or something, and then he got moved over, but now they've updated it again, so just keep an eye out for that. Next, we're going to talk about Chibi Godzilla. So Chibi Godzilla is right here. He is in this bracket that starts with, we have set out on our expedition, but are yet to encounter anything out of the ordinary. This is used generally for monsters that are miscellaneous, like we have in this pile, like Ultraman, Mephias, Giant Octopus, the Angels, the Kamen Rider characters, right? Like just characters that are like kind of random and all over the place. So the logs start with that, ends with the out of the ordinary. Progressing further in our search, it seems we've emerged into an open area. After investigating our surroundings for a short while, one of the soldiers called out. Now, this is shared between everyone in this category, I believe, except for Kamen Rider. So, where is it? We follow this line down. Then the soldier had found tiny footprints embedded in the ground. They seem to be forming a kind of wandering trail leading into the distance. Now, this connects to the Destroyers and Manila. I thought Chibi would connect from Manila's, but he does not. Chibi has his own dialogue. Upon looking more closely, I noticed another pattern of smaller footprints. Could such tiny footprints belong to a monster we have yet to encounter? We have spied a small monster in the distance, gazing upwards, as attention was fixed on the familiar monster that loomed beside it. So I believe, I haven't watched the show yet, I believe in the show, this is not actually Godzilla proper, this is Junior. This is like Heisei era Junior. Or he's a baby Godzilla, but I'm pretty sure this is Heisei era Jr. And the familiar monster he's looking up at is actual Godzilla, like Prime, like Godzilla proper, right? Because in the show, Chibi is like a baby, but then there's actually like a big Godzilla in the show. So this is a nice little reference to Godzilla. He's in the show. I guess in this game, the context it would be Chibi Godzilla and G89. Speaking of G89 and the Godzillas, Mechagodzilla is in the same category as most of the other Godzillas. I thought that he might have his own area like Kiryu, but he's down here with the likes of Mechagodzilla and these guys, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say because he's down here, that is because the 3 other Godzillas that he can transform into are also in this category. So let's take a look from the top. He starts in the category of we have discovered colossal footprints stamped firmly into the ground. A thorough search will be conducted in the hopes of locating more. Pretty standard line. This is probably the most famous like log in the entire game. People always like immediately are able to spot Godzilla's a mile away. The footprints stretch onwards. We will use them as our guide while keeping an ever watchful eye on our surroundings. A thundering roar rang out from up ahead. The footprints appear to be leading us straight to the source. We follow this down to here. In addition to footprints, there are signs of a thick, heavy tail being dragged across the ground behind them. This is Godzilla identifier. This is what almost all of the Godzillas are linked to. I think the only one that isn't is Shin, Ultima, and I guess you could count Kiryu. But Shin is connected to this, but Shin is not connected to this one. But most of the Godzillas are connected by the, or is it the tail? Right here. Most of the Godzillas are connected to the tail. So we'll go down, and we follow this all the way down to Mechagodzilla. The glint of a shiny object near the footprints drew my attention. On closer inspection, I recognized it as a piece of metal that had fallen to the ground. Oh, hold on. Cool. So that's Mechagodzilla's logs. Very straightforward. Did I do this for him? Yeah, I put this line there. Very straightforward. These guys do not have super confusing logs. Last month's, Kamen Rider log had you, like, bouncing all around fucking creation, like, bam, 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 right? But this is pretty straightforward. Chibi has shared logs with Manila and the Destroyers, but he has his own dialogue. And then Mechagodzilla has shared logs with the other Godzilla, like, up here, but that's standard, and then has his own little descriptive story right down there. So very simple, very easy to follow. This will be linked in the description of this video as well as in my Discord. We update this whenever the new season comes out as we find the logs to give them to you guys so you know what to predict in your maps, and so you're not surprised when you're like, oh, I hope this legendary map is Kamen Rider, and then it turns out it is Jet Jaguar. Alright, so that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.